Okay, in each of these 4 problems that we're going to do together, it says to simplify each expression. Simplify means combine like terms and get rid of any parentheses. No parentheses. Okay, so in this first one, I have 8n and I have positive n. Those both have an n, so they're like terms, so I can add them together. N has an invisible number in front of it. It's a 1, so that's 8n plus 1n, which equals 9n. I don't have any other terms, no other numbers, no other variables, so that is the final answer. Okay, problem number 2. I have one set of like terms here. I have positive 9x and I have positive 4x. The addition sign makes it positive. When I add those together, I get 9x plus 4x. 9 plus 4 is 13x. The variable term should always come first and then the constant. There's only one constant here, so it can't be combined with anything else. So I just write plus 4. Those are not like terms. This has an x, this does not. So that's the final answer. Problem number 3. I have 6x and negative 5x. That subtraction sign means it's negative. Okay, so when I add those together, 6 plus negative 5. I have more positives than negatives, so my answer is going to be positive, and I have one more positive than negative, so that's 1x. And then I can also combine my constants together. I have positive 4 and I have negative 7. Again, that's also negative. Okay, it's also negative because it's a subtraction sign. Subtraction and negatives, we can start thinking about them as the same thing. So a negative 7 and a positive 4. I have more negatives than positives, so it's negative. And I have 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 3 more negatives than positives, so 1x minus 3. But I don't have to write the invisible 1, so I'm going to change this to x minus 3. That's my final answer. And notice how this is just a subtraction sign. It's not x plus negative 3. Okay, I saw a lot of people doing that the other day. No. Technically, they mean the same thing, but this is the correct answer. Okay, last one we're going to do together. This has quite a bit of things in it. It has a negative 2y here, it has a 1/3 here, it has parentheses, so that means we have to do the distributive property. It has an x and a 3y. So because it has parentheses, I have to do the distributive property. And that always comes first. Okay, I'm going to show that. Distributive property always comes first. So I'm going to ignore this negative 2y here, and this 1/3 is what's outside here. So I'm going to do, and it's positive. Positive 1/3 times x and positive 1/3 times 3. 1/3 times x, again, there's an invisible 1 there, so that's just 1/3 x, because anything times 1 is itself. And then here I have 1/3 times 3. I'm going to show that off to the side over here, my work for that. 1/3 times 3. 3 is a whole number, so it's written over 1. Oops. It's written over 1. And then I am multiplying straight across. And I get 3 over 3, which equals 1. Okay, so that equals 1, and it's positive because both of these, it was a positive 1/3 times a positive 3, so that's 1y. And then I still have negative 2y over here. I don't do anything to this in this step, I just bring it down because I just was multiplying with the numbers inside the parentheses on that step for the distributed property. So now I can combine my like terms. I have negative 2y and I have positive 1y. I have a negative here and I have a positive here. So I have more negatives than positives. So this is going to be negative 1y plus 1/3 x. I want them in alphabetical order. Alphabetical. So I'm actually going to put x before y. So I'm going to rearrange this to 1/3 x minus y. Notice I'm dropping the 1 because it's invisible, and I'm bringing down my negative sign as the subtraction. So this is the final answer.